I spent over £600 trying to find the best seat for my Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650. I even modified the stock seat myself. 5 seats in total, scored across build quality, value, aesthetics, long distance comfort and pillion comfort. 1 seat dominated, and here are the results. So 5 categories out of 10, total 50 points. The categories are build quality, value for money, aesthetics and style, long distance touring comfort and pillion comfort. First up, the original seat that I had with the bike. I bought mine as a dual seat option because I just like the look of that seat. I just think it enhanced the looks of the bike. So first off, the build quality. To be honest, nice firm base, nice cover, pretty waterproof. I think the build quality on this seat, it's not bad, to be honest. So I'm going to give this 8 out of 10 for build quality. Next up, value for money. Well, I really didn't pay anything for it, did I? So it came with a bike. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. So it's got an 8 and an 8 so far. Aesthetics and style. This is the reason I bought the bike. I just loved the look on the Super Meteor 650. This and the pillion seat, to me, just set the bike off. Fell in love with it instantly. I wasn't too keen on the look of the touring seat, to be fair. So again, aesthetics and style, 8 out of 10. So far, doing very well. This is the crucial one. Long distance comfort. How was it? Absolutely terrible. My first week of ownership of this bike, I really had to question, did I do the right thing buying this motorbike? Especially when I visited the Bangkok Motor Show and all those bargain bikes that were on show at that time. So yes, the long distance touring comfort on this bike, absolutely terrible. On this seat, absolutely terrible. So I'm going to score it 4 out of 10. And last up, pillion comfort. So this one goes on the back for pillion comfort. It's even worse, isn't it? So it's so thin, there's not much recoil there for your pillion. So that only gets a 3 out of 10, sadly. So total for this seat combination, 31 out of 50. Next up is the stock seat again. Why am I talking about it twice? Well, because I actually took off the cover of this seat and modified it myself with an angle grinder. That's how desperate I was to try and solve the comfort on this seat. And I accidentally found a way of softening the seat, and it works very well. So let's grade this as a separate seat, okay? So here are the scores on my modified seat. Build quality is the same, 8 out of 10. Value for money is going up. I'm going to give it 9 out of 10 because it didn't cost me anything, just my time to modify it. Aesthetics and style, it's still very good, isn't it? But there's one little thing, I don't know if you can see it there, where I did modify it. You can see some lines in the seat. I'll bring it in a bit closer. You can see some lines there. That's where I cut the seat underneath. So you do lose the look of the seat a little bit. So aesthetic wise, it's going to lose a point. It's going to go down to 7 out of 10. Long distance touring comfort, vastly improved. It's going to go from 4 out of 10 to a 6 out of 10 just by putting some cuts in the foam. Pillion comfort is going to be the same because it's the same seat. Total score for my modified seat combo, 33 out of 50. The Royal Enfield touring seat. Yeah, I was forced to buy this from Mrs. T. We trialled it. We trialled this. She was happy, but I wasn't. So let's go through the scores. Build quality, 8. Value for money, 5 out of 10. This is the most expensive seat of the lot so far. I think they've dropped in price a little bit, but you're still looking at about £260. I think that might include the backrest, which I did. I bought it as a combo set because I wanted to experiment with the rear pillion with this backrest as well. Aesthetics and styling has gone down because I just think this seat ruins the look of the bike. I really do not like the look of the touring seat, but because they're so easy to swap out, just a couple of screws, you can swap seats easily. I just thought, well, I'll hang it on the wall when Mrs. T isn't coming with me, but when she does, it's easy to swap it back to the touring seat. That was my thinking at the time. I didn't want to cut this one, so the comfort for the main rider went down to 4 out of 10, where Mrs. T's pillion comfort went up from 3 out of 10 to 6 out of 10. So she actually really liked this. She did like this. Total score for the Royal Enfield touring seat, a very low 27 out of 50. Next up, the Sahara touring comfort seat combination. You can get this as a single seat if you like, or you can buy it extra with the pillion, which is what I did. Myself and Mrs. T put this to an extreme test. We actually made a travel series about it, 2,400 kilometers on a 9-day tour around Thailand using these seats, and we were sat on them 3 hours, then a break visiting some tourist attractions, 3 hours, and then a stop for the night. So 6 hours a day on the seats, and we found them incredibly comfortable, really, really good. Actually, I'm going to put a clip from those videos. 2 more days traveling on the bike. How is your derriere? Is it okay?
It should be okay.
But is it okay? Is it?
It is very okay.
Yeah, it is very okay. My derriere is very okay also, even though we do get the wet bum after it rains.
Yes.
But for comfort wise, normally after I ride a bike this long, the next day you sit on the bike, it's like riding a bicycle. You feel that pain.
Yeah.
I don't get it at all. Actually, it's quite the opposite. It's like, it's kind of a nice
Same
feeling.
as me, yeah. I'm not feeling hurt my back, my ass, my leg. It's so good.
Yeah. So again, build quality. It does lack it a little bit on the back. I would say it's a little bit rough on the back. It's fiberglass, not molded plastic like the Royal Enfields. So it loses it on the back, but where it wins is on the front. The stitching quality and the feel and everything about this seat is absolutely superb. You can have the logo if you want, or you can have it removed. So for build quality, better on the front, worse on the back, so it still scores the same, 8 out of 10. I think fiberglass is a little bit more flexible than plastic, supposedly, so maybe that's why they use fiberglass. It does put a little bit extra weight on the seat as well, but the build quality, it's superb. I've actually been sent some videos from Sahara seats, so I'll put those up now as well. You can just see how they actually make the seats. Value for money, prices vary around the world, so you have to forgive me. In India, they're a lot cheaper because you're not paying import tax, you're not paying expensive postage. So they are a lot cheaper for you guys in India to buy Sahara seats than the rest of the world. I did pay a lot for this. I paid £199 for the combination, these two. But you can just buy the seat on its own if you want, £450. So I'm going to call value for money on this 7 out of 10. Aesthetics and style, it's different than the stock seat. It is a little bit fatter on the back. Aesthetically, I'm going to score this 8 out of 10, the same, because it is nice with this emblem on here and it does look good. This is the biggie now. This is the big one. Long distance touring comfort. I've never ridden a motorbike as long as this seat and found it so comfortable. So it's getting a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 for long distance comfort. Absolutely superb. And how can I say that confidently? I did the 9-day tour. A few days later, I rode 8 hours in one day and then had an 8-hour sleep and then rode 8 hours the next day on that seat without a break. 16 hours within 36 hours on that seat. Not a numb bum once, not a sudden jolt in my spine once. Superb. Love that seat. Love it. So the total score for the Sahara touring comfort seat comes in at an impressive 43 out of 50. But we've still got one more seat to go, Can it beat it? And before you go rushing out to buy a Sahara seat, there are a few things you really need to know first. Now, before we dive into that, if you appreciate the time, effort and honesty that goes into making these reviews, please do hit that like button. It genuinely helps the channel and keeps me motivated to keep doing more tests like this. Alright, let's talk about the more important stuff. First, the Sahara touring seat. It's not compatible with the Royal Enfield backrest. I'll show you exactly why in a short clip coming up. Second, don't expect that soft air sprung feel. The Sahara seat is firm, and that's actually part of its secret. The firmness is what gives it such great long distance comfort. I did go for the gel upgrade on both of these seats I ordered today, which adds about 5mm of extra height. It makes a big difference, helping to absorb those sharp suspension jolts on rough roads. And lastly, a small heads up, the stitching holes can allow a bit of water to seep in during heavy rain. But don't worry, I've got a couple of easy solutions for that coming up shortly. On a previous video, Mrs. T said it was uncomfortable, and that was my fault because I put the rear pillion seat on top of the original Royal Enfield backrest, and what I didn't realise is that there's no rubbers touching when you're on this cast iron frame from Royal Enfield. So she was getting the road vibrations and the engine vibrations, and she was getting a numb leg either side of this. I didn't think about it, but eventually it clicked that that was what the problem was. So I ordered a different backrest. So this is now gone, so I spent even more money, and I changed to the Bikeology backrest, which mounts on the side of the bike. I put some gel under the seat to stop the vibrations, and boy oh boy did Mrs. T now love this seat. So hence the last minute change from the Royal Enfield touring seat to the Sahara touring seat for our tour, and we're so glad that we did. The only detrimental thing is the stitching lines. It does let water through. If you leave your motorbike in heavy rain overnight and then sit on the seats, you will get a wet butt. But what we've learned is a couple of things. A, you can buy seat covers now from Sahara Seats, waterproof seat covers, cat scratching protective seat covers. They do make them now to fit on their seats. I think that's a worthy investment as well. But also we put dubbing into the stitching lines, and that waterproofed them as well. So yes, you can get a wet butt from these seats, but I would rather have a wet butt than a sore butt, and these seats performed very, very well. Now on to the last seat, the Sahara Low Rider seat. This one doesn't come with a pillion option, so I'll be scrubbing the pillion scores entirely and comparing it on a maximum score of 40 instead. With the gel upgrade, the seat feels absolutely spot on, really comfortable and well made. Coming in with a total of 34 points out of 40, this is the winner on the single seat. The touring seat from Sahara is absolutely spot on, but unfortunately it does raise the seat height by 20mm. This is why I chose the low rider seat today. For someone like me who's a bit vertically challenged, that extra height definitely makes a difference. I'm much happier when the seat is as low as possible. The original stock solo seat, set back here, I'm on tiptoes. If I move forward, I can flat foot the bike. So it's a nice seat look wise, it's just not a nice seat comfortably. I think Sahara seats have got a very challenging job ahead of them to try and make a seat lower than this. What am I talking about? I'll prove it to you. Possible. Let's remove the seat altogether. I think you can agree with me, you can't get a lower seat than a piece of paper. Let's put a piece of paper there and sit on the bike. Look at that. Ridiculous. I cannot flat foot the bike at all. So making a low seat for this bike does not make it lower, unfortunately. You have to be this height and forward to be able to get your legs straight and stand on the ground. So making the seat low here really doesn't achieve anything apart from a better ride. I suppose it does feel better. It does feel like a proper cruiser when you're that low down. That is nice, but you just cannot flat foot the bike at all. You're just dangling your feet in the air. The low rider seat for short riders is how it's advertised. Does it make the bike lower? Let's find out. I don't think so, sadly. And the reason for that is it is lower where your bottom of your spine sits. You're definitely lower there. But because of the build of the Meteor 650, you've got the battery and the air intake covers in the way. It prevents your legs from going straight down. So the only way you can get your legs straight down is to go as far forward as possible, hurting your man bits. Then you can flat foot the bike. The only thing is with the Sahara lowrider seat, they have made it a little bit taller at the front. So Sahara seats, if you are watching, my recommendation is make the very front of the seat a little bit lower, and then you can definitely advertise it for shorter riders. But the way it is at the moment, it's a very good seat. I do love it. It is staying on my bike, but it isn't shorter, unfortunately. The winner is the Sahara lowrider seat. I just love the looks. I love the comfort. It's not too bad. Just a little bit less than the touring seat, but not much actually. And I just think this one will stay on my bike. If Mrs. T comes touring with me again in the future, then the touring seat, the Sahara touring seat, will go back on with the Bikeology backrest. But just for me on my own, this Sahara lowrider seat, perfect, beautiful looking. Thank you.